The transfer window has finally shut in its international break time, so that gives us a chance to talk about some interesting topics in the game of football. And one topic that's been on my mind for a little bit is the top 10 players with the most to prove in the game today. Now, there's a lot of criteria to decide which players rank where, but it's really just price tag, expectations on the player, expectations on the club, and then what the fanfare is on the player, right? If fans rank you as highly as a player, they're gonna expect more from you. So you put all those criteria together, and let's come up with 10 players with the most to prove this season. Number 10, Lucas Chevalier. And if you're not familiar with the league, with Ligue 1, you're probably not familiar with this keeper. But now that he's moved to PSG, there's going to be a lot more eyes on this guy. And the talk about Donnarumma and him not fitting Enrique's style of play and the contract issues, it makes it a more pressure situation for Chevalier to walk into, right? Because he has to perform right away. And he has to perform at the biggest stage, which is the Champions League. Because if PSG go into the Champions League and they struggle, they get knocked out in round 16, they get knocked out in the quarterfinals, all the talk will be about, well, you had Donnarumma last season. Why did you swap him out for this unproven kid? Which, for the most part, he's unproven, right? His real big coming out season was last season when he made the League One team of the season, which, credit to him, only two players that weren't on PSG made that team, him and Ryan Cherky. So he hasn't really proven himself to the worldwide public yet. But we saw him in the Super Cup against Spurs, made a key error, letting in the second goal for Spurs, and then redeemed himself a little bit in the penalty shootout. But the first two games of the Ligue 1 season, PSG kept 2 clean sheets, performed well. Now, we didn't really have much to do, but still performed well. Then the game against Toulouse, people are going to look at it and say, 6-3, what was he doing in that game? He saved some penalties in that game as well. So he's a good shot stopper. He's a good keeper. He's good with his feet. There's a lot to see. We'll see a lot more this season, right? With pressure on him in the Champions League, big games, we'll see what he can kind of produce moving forward. But there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. There's going to be a lot of talk around him if PSG don't perform to the same level that they performed to last season. Now, number 9 is Alejandro Garnacho. And it's an interesting one because there's so much talk about Man United fans not liking Garnacho or kind of just being annoyed with his shoot-first mentality, not picking his head up, not finding the right pass, etc. There's always something wrong with Garnacho. But as a Liverpool fan, when I watch Garnacho, I see a relentless attacker. One of the most relentless attackers in the Premier League. Somebody that, for the last 2 years, probably has been Manchester United's best attacker or contributed the most goals, most assists, most GA, whatever. I mean, outside of Bruno, who has really been reliable for Manchester United in the last 2 seasons other than Garnacho? So I think the talk about him and the talk around him has been a little bit harsh. Granted, this guy's only 21 years old too. He's not like he's a seasoned veteran. He's a guy that's been put in a tough situation with Manchester United, in a position where very few players, even mature players, even players in their prime, have succeeded, and they look at him as if like he's the worst thing. And I think everything kind of soured out. Everything soured after the Europa League final, where I think he should have played from the start, because he played all the games leading up to the final, and then the final comes around and he gets benched, and he feels hard done by, and I understand it. He went about it the wrong way. Maybe his family did as well, but I understand his point of view. Now he goes to Chelsea, where his real competition is going to be Jamie Gittins. I know Pedro Neto played there a couple times here and again last season, but I think Maresca signed 2 left wingers to compete for that position. What I've seen from Gittins, what I've seen from Garnacho is Garnacho's a better player as of right now. He's done more at a bigger club in a more difficult league. I think he's a better player as of right now. So if anyone's going to fight for those positions, I think he's going to win it. And we'll see kind of in a better situation, in a better club, I think a better manager, I think better players, in a better system, we're going to see the real Garnacho. But there's pressure on him because there's no love, the Man United fans are not going to be looking at him with so much admiration. And Chelsea fans, they don't give their players time. They want production right away, right? I know they're doing this young player model, but if you're not performing, they're not, they're not backing you. And the business model at Chelsea is if you're not performing, we're loaning you out, we're selling you, we're getting rid of you. There's no reason to keep around dead wood. So pressure on him but he's still young, right? He's still young. If he fails at Chelsea, which I hope he succeeds, there's going to be another Premier League team looking for him, an Italian, team. He'll have suitors elsewhere. So, but for now, there's pressure on him, and that's why he's the number 9 on this list. Number 8 on this list is Gigi Donnarumma. Now, Donnarumma, the talk about keepers basically all summer was about Donnarumma. Where is he going? Is he leaving? He is leaving. Okay, where is he going now? He's gone to Man City. And it's an interesting one because Man City is not the club that I would have seen Donnarumma going to, simply because Pep likes his keepers to be ball playing. We saw what he did with Joe Hart. Like, Joe Hart was a great keeper for Man City. He was replaced. So I understand, him having to leave PSG, but him going to Man City is a bizarre one, especially because they just signed James Trafford. So it didn't make sense to me. However, he is where he is. But there's going to be so much pressure on him to perform in the Premier League. Because Man City are not a small club. They're not a club with no expectations. They expect to win the league. They expect to challenge for the Champions League. So you're coming into a team where there's no drop-off from PSG. In fact, this might be more pressure because Man City have achieved more relative to, kind of the difficulty of the league. They've achieved more in recent history than PSG has. So you need to perform. Man City are going to be peppered with shots this season. The defense is struggling. The midfield is adjusting, to Roger coming back. There's a lot to kind of figure out in that team. So you're going to have to make some saves. And this isn't, League On where you might be playing against, sorry to say, but lesser players, inferior players. This is a team where every single month you're playing one of Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, United, and just not even those teams. You're talking about the Brightons, the Bournemouths. These are tough games. Athletic teams that are not afraid of Man City anymore. Can you live up to kind of your name and what you've accomplished in your career? PSG, it wasn't so great, right? That Champions League campaign last season kind of resurrected his status, because before that, it was like error prone, gonna make a mistake or two. You don't even know what to expect from this guy. But it kind of salvaged his career. Now is the next step to kind of prove that you're one of the top, 5 or so keepers in the world. I can't say I have faith in him. I can't say I trust it, but there's pressure on him to produce regardless. Number 7, Benjamin Sesko. Now, I could have taken any United player, any one of Cunha, Mbeumo, Bruno, but these guys are all Prem-proven players. Sesko has not proven himself in the Premier League. And Sesko, the hype around him has kind of died, right? His Leipzig spell wasn't so great. Last season wasn't so great. The team as a whole performed terribly last season. And Manchester United with strikers has been pressure to find the right guy. Right, since Sir Alex left, there's never really been a stable number 9 option for Manchester United. And the last seasons of Højlund and Xerxes, they kind of emphasized the need for him to hit the ground running. And we see with United how they play, how they don't really play with their midfield. They don't really create chances for their strikers. I would say that Højlund, his movement, his positioning, and Xerxes, his timing, they're not really conducive to a top number 9, right? But Sesko is a better player than both of those guys. He's more talented than both of those guys. So there's a chance for him to make up for the inadequacies that those guys had. Also, having Cunha and Mbeumo next to you will help you out a little bit more, right? Creative players that can kind of generate more shots for you as a whole. So he has some help here, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of pressure. And United fans are expecting a lot from you. The price tag, you have to produce. Like this is they're not going to be expecting from you something they got from Højlund or Xerxes. You have a higher standing in the game than those guys. You have a higher status in the game than those guys. and you have a higher expectation in the game than those guys. So you have to produce more than those guys have produced. It's going to be tough, but with a player like Bruno creating chances, with a player like Mbeumo and Cunha, Ahmad, they have players that can create for you if you make the right movements, position yourself correctly, and you're 6'5". Every other cross that comes in the box, you can win it, right? So I have faith in his ability, in his talent. I just hope that Manchester United do not destroy this guy's career like they've done with so many strikers, in the past. Good luck to him, but let's see how it goes. Number 6, Vinicius Jr. Now, Vinicius Jr. has proven himself for the most part at Real Madrid, right? Scoring in the Champions League, scoring in 2 Champions League finals. Obviously contributing to the La Liga win a couple seasons ago. So he's proven himself to be a good player for Real Madrid. Like, this is not some scrub. But last season was terrible. And the thing about Madrid and Madrid fans is we're not worried about what happened last season or 2 seasons ago. What are you doing for me now? Are you contributing to the club now? Are you producing now? And if you go 1 season at Madrid without producing, the next season you're on the hot seat again. Right? We saw the bids from Saudi. We saw him getting dropped by Xabi Alonso. You have to produce, but you have to win something this season. If it's not the La Liga, it has to be the Champions League. Copa del Rey, Supercopa, none of that matters. We need one of the big 2. And that's what the fans and the club will be saying to the players this season, and especially Vinicius. After the season he had last season, he has to produce this season. I believe in him. I think one of the players that he just has that drive, right? He might do 10 skill moves, none of them come off, but the 11th one, he's going to try again, right? His pace, and the fact that they have so much of a talented team and creative players around him, he can get back to his best and produce again. But the pressure is there, and he has to get it done this season. Otherwise, it's going to be uncomfortable conversations around him, right? The World Cup coming up, there's no guarantee. I mean, there probably is a guarantee with Ancelotti being the manager that he's going to pick Vini to start anyways, but you never know. You never know. With Pedro and Cunha and Esteval and all these guys coming up, you never know. So you have to produce again this season. And I believe in him, and I think that he will. Number 5, Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz. When Liverpool broke the British transfer record for him in the beginning of the summer window, there's all this talk. The hate train kind of started, right? Everybody loved Florian Wirtz before he signed for Liverpool. All the talk about, oh man, Leverkusen's unbeaten season. Florian Wirtz is he's so techy, he's so silky, he's so smooth. Look at him turning down Man City, turning down Bayern. But when he moved to Liverpool, it was always, oh, man, this guy's overrated. He's not worth the price. Let's see what he can do. Is he better than Cherki? Is he? All this talk about him, right? And in the first couple of games, yeah, he got the assist against Crystal Palace, but it was barely an assist. I could see he did all the hard work. The first 2 games against Bournemouth, Newcastle, didn't really perform anywhere near his best. Against Arsenal, second half, he showed kind of the glimpses of the kind of player he is. Skipping past Declan Rice, Zubimendi, finding little pockets of space, creating overlaps, overloads. So he was performing well. And granted, for him, those are 4 very difficult games for a player, in a new league to adjust to. This is not Liverpool bias. There just is. Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal are not the easiest teams. It's not like he played Burnley, Brentford, Fulham, and I don't know, somebody else. Like, look at the caliber of teams he's playing against, right? 2 teams that won something last season, and Arsenal, runners up, and then Bournemouth, one of the most physical teams. But no one wants to hear any of that. Nobody wants to hear excuses. You cost 100 million plus. Nobody cares about who you played against. Nobody cares about the circumstances. All they want to see is you perform. And the international break is kind of picked it back up a little bit. But let's see what happens when Liverpool return. Can you pick it up? Can you give, the 10 goals, 10 assists minimum that are expected of you as Liverpool's new number 10, but you're number 7, but you're the 10? Can you pick up the baton after Mo Salah starts to slow down and be the new creative spark for Liverpool Football Club? Can you be that guy, the talisman? right? Because in 2 years, when Van Dijk is probably gone, when Salah is gone, you're kind of the guy. You're the guy. You and Isak are going to be the guys. So what can you kind of show us this season to give us confidence that next season and the season afterwards, you will be able to take up that baton. So I believe in Florian Wirtz. I think his talent level is just too high for him to fail miserably, but he has to succeed at a certain level, right? Liverpool have to retain the Premier League or the Champions League for it to be seen as a success, immediate success. If they don't get any of those trophies, people are going to be looking like, what did we spend this money on Wirtz for? I believe in him, but there's a lot of pressure. Number 4, Marcus Rashford. This move to Barcelona is kind of the last chance for him at a massive club. The loan move to Aston Villa, it was okay, but it was nothing really exceptional. But we saw against PSG in the Champions League that performance that he still has it. Right? He still has it at the top level. He still has it. I don't know what I'm saying. Still, like he's 20, like he's 35, he's 27. There's time for him, but he has to produce for Barcelona this season. But in Barcelona, he's at the best possible situation. You're playing in an attacking system under probably the best manager you've ever played under, with the best players you've ever played under, in the best system. Like, this is a great fit for Rashford. On that left side where they kind of wanted a left winger, they're playing with Yamal, Pedri, Rafinha, Lewandowski, time to time, Ferran Torres, like very good players. But can you do your part? They're looking at 10 to 15 goals from you, all comps. 20 to 25, contributions, all comps. If you just get 10, that's nothing. You need 20 plus for it to be seen as a success, and for you to get that that complete move to Barcelona. Because if this flops, there's no going back to United. Where else can you go in the Premier League? Really nowhere. You have to go probably Germany or Italy or maybe France. So it's a lot of pressure on him. There's going to be pressure from all fan bases. Like, is this guy even worth it anymore? Is he still the Marcus Rashford that we saw the glimpses of 3 or 4 seasons ago? Can he live up to that potential? There's pressure on him, but I believe in him. I believe the system is too good to fail at Barcelona, right? I think a lot of players, we saw Daniel Olmo cook, we saw Ferran Torres cook, we saw Fermin cook. None of these players are better than Marcus Rashford as footballing talents. They're just not. But if they can do it, Marcus Rashford should be able to do it. It's pressure on him, but I believe in him, and I hope he does well. Number 3, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the way things ended at Liverpool were just sour. It was a poor ending. The way he handled the contract, the way he went about it, it was just all bad, right? And Liverpool fans, they don't really have any. Most of them don't have any love for him left. But me, I can appreciate what he's done for my club. I can appreciate, the memories and the key moments, the Barcelona. It's okay. You can move on with your life. At the end of the day, this is a job. Do what you think is best for you. Go about it how you think is best for you. I don't agree with it, but it is your career and it's your life. However, none of that matters anymore. Real Madrid fans and Real Madrid as a club need performances. If you cannot perform at Real Madrid, they will get rid of you. They will ice you out. The fans will ostracize you, and Florentino Perez will find a new club for you as soon as possible. So there's no betting in period. There's no Carvalho's back from injury. He will take your spot if you don't perform. So there's pressure on Trent. The way he went about it put even more pressure. Because listen, if he had just left Liverpool in normal circumstances, signed a new contract, and Madrid bought him or whatever, there wouldn't be this hate. There wouldn't be this kind of amount of eyes on him. But you're a Madrid player now, and there's pressure on every Madrid player. But especially the way things went with Liverpool and ended with Liverpool, and the way you kind of said this is your dream, and you watch them growing up, and you love the club, and all these things is kind of just like, prove it. And Liverpool fans are going to be on your case, but Madrid fans are going to be on your case even more because they don't play about any performances. If you don't perform, they're ready to get rid of you. So all the best to Trent. No ill feelings, no ill will, but it's going to be a lot of pressure on you to prove your worth to Madrid. Number 2, Alexander Isak, the Premier League most expensive player, right? There's a lot of pressure on Isak to bring to Liverpool what he gave Newcastle. 20 Premier League goals minimum. With that, for that price tag, you have to score goals. And you have to score goals in the Champions League. And you have to help Liverpool get as far as possible in the Champions League as you can help them. And I'm talking about quarters minimum. Quarterfinal, semifinal, final, but quarterfinal minimum. Because they're not spending that much money on you to get out in the round of 16. Not spending that much money on you to get out in the early stages of the FA Cup or fall flat in the league push. You need to contribute and get them everything that they won last season and more. That's the expectation. Now, the price tag, the way things happened, with Newcastle, broken promises or betrayal, none of that matters anymore. Now it's about what you can give to Liverpool Football Club. Now, I think Isak, to me, is the most complete striker in the Premier League. I think he can do more than anybody else in terms of as a striker package. You're playing with better players. You're playing with more creative players. You're gonna get more chances. We saw how many chances we gave to Darwin Nunez, to Luis Diaz, Gareth Sissoko, Diego Jota. You can get those chances too, and you can score those goals. But you have to score those goals. There's no 007. You have to score. I'm not even 003. You have to do something quickly, right? Because that's the kind of price tag. That's the kind of pressure the price tag brings on you. I believe in Isak. I think he's too talented to fail. And I think there's just too much around him for him not to get enough chances to score enough goals to justify the price tag somewhat. So Isak, I believe in you, and I think you will prove your worth in time. Number one. Who else? Kylian Mbappe. When Madrid was hunting Mbappe for years and years and years, Florentino Perez was begging on his knees for this guy. Please join my club. I need you. You finally joined, and what did you give them last season? Yeah, you won the European Golden Boot, despite the circumstances, but you didn't beat Barcelona once in a Clásico. Yeah, you got a little hat trick here, but who cares about that? You didn't beat them, and you went trophyless. Madrid fans are looking at you like, we did all this for that? For nothing? We might as well have just kept our front two of Vini and Rodrigo and cut our losses. You're now in a position where you have a new manager, a new system. Madrid look better defensively. They look better on the ball. It's still a little bit slow and boring, but for the most part, they look better. But now it's on you to be that final piece. The defense looks good. The midfield looks good. Can you be that final piece that propels them to the La Liga trophy, that propels them to the Champions League? We don't want to hear about Copa del Rey. We don't want to hear about Supercopa de España. It's about those two, La Liga or Champions League. You win either one of those this season, you've proven yourself to Madrid fans. You don't win either of those, they're still looking at you like you've proven nothing. You can score 50, 60 goals, you've proven nothing. Because their currency is trophies. All they care about is trophies. And if you're not winning those trophies, that means Barcelona's winning those trophies. And that's a no-no. That's no good. So there's pressure on Mbappe. We know Mbappe lives up to the pressure. Monaco did it. PSG did it. Champions League, he was right there, but just couldn't make it. France, 2 World Cups, he's done it. So we know this guy is capable. This is not a case of can he prove his talent. It's can he prove his worth to Real Madrid. And he's gonna bang. He's gonna win, the Champions League or the La Liga in the next 3-4 years. But can you do it this season specifically? Because you have to prove it this season. Last season, you lost some time last season. Because if you had won something last season, you could have bought you a little bit, of a weight off your back, but you won nothing. So now the weight is magnified. You have to do 2x what you should have done last season. But I believe in Mbappe. I mean, this is the best player in the world still. Right? I know Yamal is creeping up on him. I know people are going to say, maybe Haaland but for now, for me, he's still the best player in the world. But you have to prove it. And you have to produce for Real Madrid this season. Otherwise, What did they buy you for? So those are the 10 players with the most to prove in world football this season. Now, honorable mentions, I think there's some couple players we could talk about. Paul Pogba, can you still prove that you're that guy in the midfield? Can you still prove that you can go to the World Cup with France and help them win it? Right? Because for me, before all this doping and banning and all that, this guy was the best and most complete midfielder in world football for me. Right? Performances might have not have shown that, but I know what Pogba is. I've seen there's not many players I can see that can do what he can do on a pitch. So he's one of the best. Erling Haaland. I know people are gonna be like, what, Haaland? But Man City's first trophyless season, his first trophyless season at Man City. What have you done for me lately? Can you propel Man City back to where they were? Can you kind of reestablish yourself as, because it got to the point where Haaland is getting underrated, where people are saying, oh, this striker is better than him. That striker is better than him. Are Kane and Isak better than Haaland now? That's the kind of talk that's being, thrown on his name. So he has to prove and remind people that, yeah, I'm still Erling Haaland. I'm still the best striker in the world. We'll see, Man City, but it'll be difficult, but there's pressure. There's a little bit of pressure on him. Luis Diaz, the move to Bayern, and yes, he's gonna bang in the Bundesliga, but this Diaz signing strikes me more as, what can you give us in the Champions League, right? Because we see with Liverpool that he performed at a great level. You've helped them win trophies. What can you bring to us to help us win that trophy? Because the Bundesliga, I think, kind of with Chevalier, it's a tap-in. You're going to win the Bundesliga, but what more can you give us in other competitions, especially the Champions League? There's other players there. Guys, let me know in the comments. Did I miss anybody? Is there anybody that you're looking at with a lot of pressure on them, with a lot to prove? Do you think I missed the ball on any of these guys that I mentioned? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.